Hi, Pisces. Welcome to your December 2020 Astro Update. It's Raina here. I just want to say that I'm recording this on my laptop, and I have had issues in the past with there being some garbled language and things like that. So I apologize in advance, but I'm having a few tech issues at the moment. So I have to make do with what I have. And I also wanted to get these out in a somewhat timely manner. It is the first of the month as I record this, the first of December. Speaking of that, today, the first of December, 2020, Mercury goes into Sagittarius. And this is a big area for you for the month of December, Pisces, because the sun is already in this sector, and this sector is the 10th house of career. So that can be very good for dealing with people in positions of authority. So with the sun there, there's a sense of confidence. There's a sense of having authority yourself in some way. Now, this is an area that has seen recent transits in at the end of 2017. Saturn finished its 2.5 year, almost you could say like 3 year cycle through the sign of Sagittarius in this 10th house for you. And then you also had Jupiter come in here last year. So this is something that has helped you in its own in their own ways, those two planets going through the 10th house, hopefully. And now we're going to see more. Now, this is stuff that every year Mercury is going to go into Sagittarius, is going to go in that house, but not necessarily in this time frame. And the sun goes here, and we have a new moon and all of that jazz. However, this year, the difference is that we have a solar eclipse in Sag. This is where the eclipses have been happening. There was actually an eclipse, a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius back in early June. So if you think back to then and you think in the surrounding months, if anything in particular occurred for you that is out of the ordinary, that might give you a hint as to the power of eclipses. This is a solar eclipse on the 14th of December at 23 degrees of Sag. So, with Mercury in the 10th house, you may be communicating with people in a position of authority, or, like about your career, researching a particular career that you are trying to get into. But on the 14th, this could be advancement with career and having a very decisive type of advancement with a solar eclipse versus the garden variety new moon. The very next day, Venus goes into this 10th house. And the other thing about the 10th house, it's your place in the world. It's your day in the sun. And you're going to have the sun there. So you are having the sun there. But Venus can give popularity, and the 10th house can be, associated with fame, which is not obviously going to be every person's experience. But let's say somebody is in show business, or some line of work that puts you before a public in a very definite way. So whether it's politics or if it has to do with even things that are, if you have a YouTube channel or something like that, that could indicate going viral or something. But Venus lends a lot of charm. So if you have to, if you're looking for work, and the 10th house to me is more than just employment, but it's actually your status. Um, but the type of work that produces status. So versus, instead of a job, which would be the sixth house, we would say that the 10th house is your standing in the world, and utilizing your actual skills for whatever it is that you're doing. And of course, that is going to earn money as well. But it's much more than just earning money. It's about kind of ascending that ladder of success and status in society. And Venus in this 10th house confers a lot of charm, a lot of popularity to you or with you, and also can provide harmony when you're dealing with people in positions of authority. And these are the people who are your boss or potential boss, or, anybody who you need to curry favor with. Another thing about this transit is that Venus can bring money in a particular house. So this could be like getting a raise, and so that could be very nice as well. On the 17th, we have Saturn going back into Aquarius, where it was briefly, the sign it was briefly in earlier this year. And a couple of days later, Jupiter does the same sign. So this is what has been labeled the event, but actually on the solstice on the 21st, that's when the great conjunction is taking place between Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. And get to that in a second, but I just wanted to um, say that I have been doing readings about these transits. I combine them into one reading, and um, I keep saying I don't know if I've done your sign, because I don't check into that before I actually press record. So you can check my channel to see if I've done Pisces yet. And this reading, as well as that reading, is for Pisces Sun and Pisces Rising. I don't always mention the rising sign, but it is for the rising sign for sure. And it is a general reading. In terms of the transits, it's not going to necessarily fit you 100% because of your degree of Sun in Pisces or Pisces Rising. But for this general type of reading, it's helpful to some degree, and to see what might be going on. So Saturn, I'm just going to talk about these briefly since I have a whole other video on it. But Saturn this is going to be in your 12th house, the sign right before you. And Saturn in the 12th house, Saturn is the Lord of Karma in the house of Karma. And this can feel very heavy if a person, I think that if a person is maybe negligent in this area of life, this may force spiritual responsibility. But I don't think Pisces is going to fare that badly, because this is your house. So for other people that might be more worldly, and in general they kind of live a more materialistic lifestyle, or they just don't really think about these things, it might be more of the dark night of the soul, because they'll have to face the things that they don't normally face. I think of, in the tarot, I think of the Nine of Swords, in depicted by Rider Waite, or Pamela Coleman Smith was the artist, sitting up in bed, with your head in your hands, because it's supposed to be about insomnia and anxiety and things like that. And those kinds of things are more commonplace when somebody isn't really in tune with the spiritual, and they're kind of trying to just live on the surface of life. And I think Pisces, you are, very in tune with the spiritual to begin with, even if you never go to church or never go to a mosque or whatever it is that place of worship. You still either are doing that on your own or you just have a natural affinity for it. So it certainly could be a good time, if you haven't done this for the next few years, to establish a spiritual practice. And this can be as simple as hatha yoga or tai chi, maybe both. Or if you're somebody who's kind of like been a wayward religious practitioner because maybe you got turned off to certain things, that you can find a community that resonates with you at this juncture of your spiritual journey, and maybe reestablish those that connection, because Saturn can actually be about finding structure. But with the 12th house, it's the antithesis, or the exact opposite of structure. It's really very nebulous, very like without boundaries, and so it's kind of like an oxymoron, this transit. But this is why we have to look beyond just the literal meaning of things. And so you can still find structure with the immaterial side of life. And this can be one of the biggest hurdles that we have, because it's easier to be motivated by something that is tangible, that has a tangible result, than something that you're kind of going on faith when you're, involving yourself with matters of the spirit. And yet, I think the rewards can be immeasurable. So I'm putting a positive spin on this because I think that Saturn gets a bad rap, and I think the 12th house gets a bad rap, and so I want to always look at the potential for what this could bring into your life on a positive level. And then you have a couple of days later, on the 19th, Jupiter going into this very same house. Now, I've heard something. First of all, Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. So there is a connection there. And, Jupiter is the modern ruler of Sagittarius. So you can see that there's some common traits between Sag and Pisces. And one of the main ones that we could say is this love of God, this love of that exploration of the spiritual. And so Jupiter is at home in the 12th house. And it can also, because the 12th house can be about past lives, I've even read that Jupiter can be like good karma from a past life coming back to bless you. Jupiter is a planet of luck. It's also the planet of expansion. And so any kind of spiritual exploration is both lucky and growth oriented for you. On the 20th, Mercury goes into Capricorn, and this is a friendly angle to you. It's a sextile, and it is the 11th house of hopes and wishes. And this is an area of looking into the future about what you want to manifest. And it's also, because it's a house of friends and group associations, you may be more like social and wanting to talk to people, but this may also be like communicate, reaching out to friends that you have not gotten together with. Now, you could say that we're all going to do that in December, but you, because of the holiday season, but you in particular have this very verbally social transit here. On the 21st, we have the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, and I spell it Soul. And this is the event when Jupiter and Saturn form the conjunction, the tightest, they're coming together in the closest in hundreds of years. I don't know if it was 1400s or 1200s, but that's pretty darn old. I think you will agree. But it's happening on the same day as the solstice, which is a power period when, just like the whatchamacallits, the equinoxes, when the sun is going into a cardinal sign, in this case Capricorn. This is the cardinal signs indicate action, things happening. So this can indicate that things are going to change rapidly for all of us. And certainly for you, the sun is going into this 11th house. So you may find that you are interested in connecting with others in group settings, or your friendships, your social circle, that you're socializing in that way. At the same time, you have Jupiter and Saturn going into a very private area. The 12th house is considered, it's like the hermit's house, the place of meditation and seclusion. So you probably will crave more solitude in the coming year with Jupiter here, because Jupiter expands whatever, house it transits through. On the 29th, there is a full moon at 8 degrees of Cancer, and Cancer is a fellow water sign. So this is falling in the fifth house of romance. What are the area that this will be especially true for the early Pisces people. For later degree Pisces, this may actually fall in your fourth house of home and family, where there is which is the house that Cancer rules. So that can be a particularly emotional um, full moon, where you're letting go of something from the past, maybe something from childhood that has really that is brought up some memory. And this is after Christmas, so something may happen if you are visiting your family and something comes up and you're like, you put two and two together and it's like a realization. And that's another thing too, that with Jupiter and Saturn in the 12th house, this is an area of repressed memories and like I said, karmic ties and karma in general. And these issues can come up for you as well. And there's like the soul ties, and that can be family. So sometimes you have to break those ties because they're not aiding your ascension process. So the full moon can reveal that and make it easier for you to let go, or to at least have something come to your conscious awareness. Because like I said, the 12th house, or I'm sorry, the fourth house of home and family is a place of the memories of childhood. And sometimes those things kind of stay with somebody, especially water signs who have very powerful memories in general. So yeah, and then for the earlier degree Pisces, this is going to fall in the fifth house of romance. And whenever I see like a full moon in the fifth house, I think of, really getting it through a person's thick skull, that a particular person in their life is the person that they should be with, that they have fallen in love with. Because sometimes people, especially if they've had a lot of ups and downs with romance, they tend to follow these negative patterns and fall in love with the wrong people. And they may feel like they're not attracted to people who would be very good for them. And so it's really about it dawning on you that somebody is the right person for you. For some people, it may be ending a dating situation that isn't working out. And for others, it can be a creative project that you're either finishing or you are conceiving. So, I mean, it can run the gamut with the fifth house. Fifth house is a place of fun. It's a house of pleasure, a house of conceiving children. So, for somebody who wants to conceive children, this may do it for you. So, anyway, that's what I have for you, Pisces. I hope that it resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. My readings are all on sale until December 17th. So, um, you can get more information if you click on the link below. Take care. Bye.